Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 436. I am Brennan. All right, UFC Fight Night Edmonton. This is going to be the prelims. So this is going to be Aiemann Zahabi versus Pedro Munhoz, right? So if you're looking for the main event, the main card, that's in the last video. The Brandon Moreno, Amir Albazi, that's in the last one. This is going to break down all the fights on the prelims. We're going to talk about everything here, go through them round by round. There was, I think, at least one confusing decision and a few, stinkers and excellent fights. Like, there's some really technical things going on as well. So there's a lot to watch, a lot to go through. If you're on the border of being a hardcore fan, I think this is worth tuning into. I think it's worth turning on. I think it's worth, spending the time. Just throw it on ESPN Plus and watch it and kind of get a feel for this kind of thing. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel when the next video is coming out. And if you find yourself liking this video, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that too. All right. This is a perfect example. So this fight was not like I said in the main card, this is not a blood and guts fight, right? This isn't two guys just slanging and banging, making each other forget their kids' names and that kind of shit. That's not what this was, right? This was not that. This was a technical fight with Aiemann Zahabi. That's what you're going to get. These very technical, well thought out. I mean, Faraz Zahabi's brother, obviously coming from that camp, and he just performed very well and has performed very well. I don't think he's lost in the UFC. Back in 2019, 2017, he did lose to Ricardo Ramos, and then Vince Morales. He lost. But since then, he's been, there's 5 wins in a row now. Excellent fight. Munhoz, oh boy. Munhoz has him backed up, and both guys are measuring, right? They're both landing one for one. Both guys using the jab, trying to land the follow-up, but just nobody's finding success with their follow-up. So it's really who's winning the jab. And Zahabi seems to land more flush when he lands his jab, using Munhoz's forward pressure against him. So as he's pressing forward, that jab is not only landing with the force of the jab, but because Munhoz is moving forward, there's no give in his face. So he's taking the brunt of all of it. Very close round. I really like to think that the bigger shots landing from Zahabi, but it's pretty damn close. Munhoz did press forward the whole time, so some judges might just see that the forward pressure and the striking was close enough, so they might just give it to Munhoz. I don't see it that way. Zahabi did outstrike him 30-26, but that's not a big differential, especially with the way that the fight was kind of playing out in this first round. Had the head strikes being 24-23. That's pretty damn close, and I could see a lot of judges giving that to Munhoz. I did not. I had Zahabi up 10-9. Second round, Zahabi using the kicks to the body and the head better. This round, Munhoz only kicking to the legs, and not very often. Zahabi using that jab so well and coming back with the combos, going to the body, then up top. Beautiful stuff in the second round. He really took that first round to measure, mixed things up in the second round. Munhoz needs to land a really big shot to take the second round, but he just kept going for the takedown near the end, and I don't know why. He was down 40, striking numbers 41-22 in favor of Zahabi. Clearly, Munhoz needed a big moment. And with 30 seconds left, are you going to get the submission? Yes, technically it's possible, but figuring out how that first round went, now you're down 2, so now instead of trying to even split it, right? Because if he lands a big shot and puts Zahabi down, he could easily take this round on at least a couple scorecards. So you figure maybe he's up 2-0. It could be 1-1 if he does land some big shots. That's just not what happened. He decided to go for a takedown. You weren't going to win this round with control. Not exactly the best game plan. I don't know if he was actively thinking that or he was just trying to find openings. Maybe he's just trying to set stuff up in the third round, but that's just not what we saw. He just picked up the volume early, leaving himself open for counters as they both started to land. This was more of the blood and guts round. Many of the moments where Munhoz stays in and measures, Zahabi lands the jabs. But this round, Munhoz isn't spending as much time measuring, and he finds success when he throws his jab and the 2, right? The 1-2, the 2 right behind it, but not the hooks. He's just not able to land those hooks, and he keeps, Zahabi drops him with the right hand. The jab's landing even more. Munhoz gets right back up, but yeah, I gave this last round to Munhoz. He did outstrike him 47-38. The overall abundance of damage from Munhoz in this last round could give it to him. So I do, like I said, I have a 29-28 for Zahabi, but beautiful fight from Zahabi. Looking at the scorecards here, Saul D'Amato had all 3 rounds for Zahabi, and then Eric Colon and Mike Bell gave that last round to Munhoz. Nothing wrong with any of those scorecards. They're all valid. Excellent fight. I do recommend going back and watching that one. All right. Charles Air Jourdain versus Victor Henry. This one started out super technical, and it ended in a relatively technical way. There's a lot of good stuff from this one, even though it didn't go 3 rounds, and it wasn't like I said at the very top of this. I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to say the blood and guts thing again, even though I just did. Henry was mixing up his targets really well with the kicks. Jourdain landing the hard low kicks, really creative moments while still staying disciplined, with both guys landing in tight and able to avoid the big shots. This was a technical showcase with creativity at the forefront. I highly recommend going back and watching this. Jourdain is excellent. Victor Henry is a savvy technical veteran with a lot of creativity, especially for someone who is, in his 30s. He is an excellent fighter. Henry catches a kick and pushes him down. Jourdain is landing with a little more force, and I think he's throwing more out there as well. Henry staying in tight, not letting him control, gets the leg trip with the doubles against the cage. Jourdain just did more in this round, right? It's a very fun fight to watch. He outlanded him here 28-18. I had the first round for Jourdain. Second round, Henry keeps the pressure on. Jourdain is kicking at him as he backs up and landing the lead hooks, and then the jabs as he circles out. I cannot do justice to the kind of thing that you would see in this fight. I can't do justice to it with just words. You really need to go watch this one. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. It will not take much time out of your day. Go back, hop on ESPN Plus, and go watch this fight. Henry tracks him down, gets a trip, and gets on the back with the body triangle. Henry just isn't able to do anything with the back control. Jourdain Jourdain eventually uses the guillotine, Jourdain gets his full guard back, uses the guillotine attempt to sprawl out and get back on top, and then holds that guillotine, gets it, had it even on the wrong side. That's not even a real guillotine anymore, and was able to squeeze it hard enough to make Henry tap. Excellent finish. Like I said, creativity on the forefront, technicality, absolutely beautiful. This was an excellent showcase. If you want to show someone some fun stuff in MMA without two guys just beating the piss out of each other, that's a good fight to show them. Excellent. Can't sing the praises enough. All right. This one was kind of like a lot of nothing, and then, Zalal just landed. Jack Shore versus Youssef. Zalal landing some low kicks. Shore coming in over the top with the right hand. Zalal. By the way, these guys look a lot alike. Look at them real close and be like, if the skin color was different, if they had the same skin color, they'd look a lot alike. Same kind of nose, same head structure. It's really kind of funny. Shore wants the takedown and in the clinch, looking strong, but just not able to get him down. Shore's landing counters when Zalal moves in with no fear, because Zalal just hasn't, he's not afraid of anything that Shore's throwing back at him. Zalal able to get him down, get the back, and he had this round even before he did that. I thought he landed the bigger shots. Striking numbers were that even though, 7-7. I didn't realize that. I felt like Zalal landed more because no, he didn't even land more to the head. I must just be off my rocker. I thought Zalal was doing more even before he had that. So clearly a 10-9 for him. Second round, big knee landing as Shore ducks in, and Shore goes down almost immediately in this round. Zalal on top, gets an arm triangle, looking super slick. That's 3 submissions in this year. For Youssef Zalal, he looks fantastic. I can't wait to watch him fight again. Okay, this was a slog to get through. I'll bring up... I'll talk about it because I don't want to skip over it, but Alexandr Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento. This was a shit show. I do not waste your time. Do not waste your time. Do not go watch this. Big boys with no cardio. Here we go. I wrote that before the fight started. I promise you. It's my very first note. Big boys with no cardio. Here we go. Romanov on the single, and then in the clinch, drags him down with the hip ride and able to finally get on top. Oh boy. I wrote that. 4 minutes and 40 seconds of control time for Romanov. 10-9. Not a lot of damage, not a lot of movement, not a lot of anything other than control. Romanov avoids the right hand, then eventually gets the takedown in the second round. A hip right again. The ref separates them on the cage. Kind of bullshit. Both guys exhausted. Romanov getting the better of the striking as well, and the grappling exchanges. And then he gets kicked in the nuts. Romanov up 20-18. 4 minutes, or this one's 2 minutes and 46 seconds control time. Last round. Romanov runs him across the cage. Not a lot of grappling. They bounce off of it, which was awkward as hell. He falls backwards, and then Nascimento runs and jumping, kicks him in the nuts. which made no whatever. This was really bad to watch. Romanov landing more 30-27. It was just super sloppy. Striking numbers in the second round, 26-20 in favor of Romanov. We do not need to waste any more of your precious time talking about that shit show of a fight. Sloppy heavyweights, not my favorite. Serhiy Sidey versus Garrett Armfield. I think this is the one. Yes. Okay. This was the one where I had a problem with it. I think the commentary did as well. Both guys landing the low kicks. Armfield looks looking to jab his way in and land that big right. Armfield is landing with that lead hook when Sidey moves in, and Armfield is keeping him on the edge of the cage. In the clinch, Sidey wants to land knees, and he's jumping up to land them, but Armfield going uppercut and landing well. So, in the clinch, the flashy stuff is coming from Sidey, but he's not landing, and Armfield's just doing the dirty work and landing well. Sidey had moments in this round, but the damage goes to Armfield. Should be interesting to see what the judges say, because the striking numbers are relatively close, 24-20 in favor of Armfield. Should be Armfield's round. Should be. I don't think there's anything big that came from Sidey. Look at the striking numbers here, 20-8 in terms of who struck the head strikes. Big differential there. The only reason why Sidey was anywhere near as far as the total significant strikes go is because the 5-strike differential on the to the body, and then the 3-strike differential to the legs. And even then, he was still down 4 strikes overall. And I know not all strikes are created equal, but are you going to tell me any of these strikes that he landed, the 8 to the head, 8 to the body, and 4 to the legs, were so significant that they could outweigh the differential from the ones that come back from Armfield? I think not. 10-9. Armfield finding more success in the open. He should stay out there. Stop getting into the clinch. Armfield is landing that jab at will. Sidey wants elbows and knees, just not finding them very much. Sidey needs to use his longer tools because the kicks look good, and Armfield is just punishing him with the volume and counter when he leads. Good grief. Sidey finding the mark with that right hand down the stretch and even landing his jab. Armfield not giving in, but he did catch up. Again, Sidey having success, but Armfield landing more damage and doing more, especially early on, which sucks because the judges, and I can't remember exactly what card he said it on, but John Anik mentioned something like, oh, well, this happened at the end of the round, but I think we're doing a disservice to our judges by saying that they're affected by recency bias based off of what happens at the end of the round. No, you're not doing a disservice. You're pointing out the obvious. You're pointing out how the human brain works and how the judges are not diligent or paying attention enough to counteract their natural tendencies to favor things that have happened more recently, because that is not how we score things. Armfield won this round. He outstruck him yet again by 4 strikes, 43-39. Again, outstriking him to the head, 34-28. Armfield led the dance, outstruck him for a majority of this round, by even more for a majority of the round, and then Sidey was trying to catch up, and he just didn't catch up. Last round here. Sidey looking frantic, thinks he's down 2 rounds because he was. Armfield gets a takedown, and Sidey tries the guillotine, but it's the wrong side. Armfield takes a standing backpack. Sidey dumps him, and then they get back up. Armfield gets a takedown again and again. Sidey goes guillotine on the wrong side yet again, and Armfield back up. Armfield with a ton of control, just not able to land anything significant. He got outstruck here 9-4, but there wasn't a lot of real damage from Sidey. Those, the head strikes were 4-3 in favor of Sidey, and then the rest of the differential came from the body strikes, 5-0. But 4 minutes of control time, 3 minutes and 54 seconds of control time for Armfield in this last round. You got to give it to him. I had it 30-27, worst case 29-28. Not how the judges saw it. So let's look at the judges' scorecards here. Wait, where the hell is it? Why do they have Chad Anheliger? Oh, they put the wrong scorecards. I hate when they do this crap. All right. Bear with me here. I will find that. I will find how they scored it. There it is. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Derek Clearly and Genichiro Kamijo gave the first 2 rounds to Sidey. Wrong. Absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. That second, there is no argument you can make to me for that second round. That first round, because there were less strikes thrown, and maybe you gave him some more credit with some of the bigger flashy shots that might have landed, like inside the clinch. Maybe they thought those knees landed when they didn't. I will give you the benefit of the doubt for that first round, but just barely. But when I see that you also gave him the second round, you're just fucking wrong. Right? Mike Bell, who I say this all the time, I often disagree with him. I think we have a different philosophy when it comes to scoring damage and how we score them. But that's a subjective thing, and that's absolutely okay. Mike Bell is relatively consistent. I will give him that, even though I disagree with him, and he does fuck up from time to time. He gave Sidey that first round as well. I'm not going to sit here and try to argue for that first round. Let's look at that second round. That second round was like a blowout. Like, I thought the first round was a blowout. I thought that second round was even better for Armfield. Yes, Sidey started to catch up near the end, but that does not mean you win the round. And I think that those other 2 judges were, like, Janitra Camijo and Derek Clearly are some real, like, grade A dingalings. They are, and I think they give in to their natural human tendencies probably more often than a lot of people would like to admit, because of this, we just saw it. Sidey did better in that, like, the last, minute and a half of that fight, that round, than Armfield did, and he brought it, made it closer. That doesn't mean it's more important. The last minute and a half of the round are not more important than the first minute and a half. A strike thrown in the first 10 seconds is the same as a strike thrown in the last 10 seconds, like all other things being equal, damage and all that other stuff, right? It doesn't matter. When you throw it, it's the same. God dang, that's stupid. Yeah, they even mentioned how, like, Sidey didn't think he won that. Like, he was like a little surprised. Not quite the Paul Felder looking at the card, like, look when they read his name, and he's like, not quite that bad, but still surprised. Moving on. Did I say Anheliger? I was saying Anheliger. Chad Anheliger versus Cody Gibson. I might have said Anheliger. I apologize. This one wasn't the most exciting. It was just Gibson needing to get a win, right? Gibson staying out on the outside, trying to avoid that straight-up exchange with Anheliger, using the low kicks and the jab. Gibson gets him to the cage and gets a body lock lift, stays on top. Anheliger. So this one was really interesting because Anheliger was trying to escape so much. It was a very technical grappling match with Gibson just riding over the top a ton. Anheliger trying to get out, not able to do it, right? If you just look at the 3 minutes and 30 seconds of control time and you see the total strikes, the significant strikes are 5-4 in favor of Anheliger, you're like, that's probably a shit round. Like, one submission attempt, like, that was probably a shit round. It wasn't. I promise you it wasn't. Anheliger was trying to off balance, and Gibson is just keeping the pressure on. Anheliger was doing a great job of moving on the bottom, creating gaps, creating motion, and Gibson just doesn't care. And even when he did get back up to his base, Gibson ripped him back down. Anheliger fights off a mounted guillotine and a Darce from headlocks, the front headlock series, makes it to the next round. Incredible that he made it out of that first round. 10-9, Gibson. Second round here. Gibson gets him down right away, going from back control to mount, arm triangle attempt multiple times. Gibson's just all over him, and Anheliger can't get out of there no matter where they go. I gave this round a 10-8. Anheliger landed no strikes. Do not pass go. And Gibson outlanded him, obviously 9-0. Had 4 minutes and 39 seconds of control time. Had that submission attempt. I gave him a 10-8. When it's so clearly in your favor and you took 0 damage in a round, I don't know how you can't give that a 10-8. Last round, Anheliger landing as he backs up, but Anheliger wasn't able to keep it on the feet. Great fight by Gibson. Gibson stayed in his face and got on top of him. Fantastic fight. Cody Gibson really just getting the win, doing it in a way where it wasn't completely boring, but that was because Anheliger fought back. I think, if that's not Anheliger in there and it's another lesser opponent or with lesser grappling ability, I think he gets the finish. So that's not on Gibson. All right, Jamey-Lyn Horth versus Ivana Petrovic. The turtle having sex noise. Both women using the kicks, having Horth landing a hard one to the body. Petrovic controls the clinch and then gets reversed, but then uses the really bad head and arm toss. So bad. But she gets it and gets on top. Horth able to get up with 2 minutes left, gets a takedown, takes it back, loses it, and ends up on bottom. Petrovic, this round was a lot of sloppy grappling, but Horth, I think she got the worst of it. So Petrovic gets it for me. She had more control time, 3 minutes and 23 seconds to 1 minute and 2 seconds. So in Petrovic's favor, 10-9. Second round, Petrovic catching a kick and gets a takedown on top. Horth works it to an armbar attempt to back up with 2 left. Horth looks to be positionally weaker, even if she can use techniques more effectively. So in each position, Horth just looks like the weaker fighter. She looks like she's physically not able to hold those things, even though she's more technical, especially in the grappling exchanges. That being said, she used her jab and pressured in a bit, sprawled out to a guillotine to end the round. I thought she evened it up. Horth outstruck here 10-9. I thought she did enough in this round. Petrovic did have more control time, but I had it 19-19 because I felt like she did more damage. Last round here, Petrovic again right across the cage in the clinch. When she's bullying, she's doing much better work, right? That's where she found success. Neither woman is very technically proficient on the feet, very plodding, kind of slow. Horth defends the head and arm toss, then works to the takedown, falls off the back again, up with 60 seconds left. One big punch would win this round from either woman. Horth is pressuring forward, landing a bit, ends the round, failing on a takedown and on bottom. But this was Horth's round. She did way more, 29-28. If you look at the striking numbers, 16-15, very close again. But she just did more. Go back and watch it. I know that it looks close on paper, but I promise you, when you go back and watch it, it's not close. And then looking at the scorecards, Mike Bell seeing it how I saw it, giving the last second and third round to Horth. Thomas Collins gave that first round to Petrovic. Okay, fine. Second round to Horth, absolutely. Third round to Petrovic, I don't know. I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. Go back and watch that. Petrovic didn't land shit. Here's a crazy one, though. Eric Cologne gave all 3 rounds to Horth, and I know what you're saying, but she won, and you had her winning. Why are you mad about that? Because that first fucking round was not her round. She didn't do shit. How are you going to score that for her when she was on her back, not doing anything, didn't land more damage, didn't really go... is there a sub attempt in that first round? No sub attempts. What are you doing? You think those 3 significant strikes that she landed outdid the additional 10 total strikes that Petrovic landed? The striking was non-existent in this round. That does not do anything. It was all about control time and who had more of it. Petrovic. How the fuck do you give that to Horth? That's bullshit. Bad scorecard. Slightly too animated for a fight that nobody really cares about. But hey, I care about it because every fight should be judged as if it were the most important fight in the world, because to these fighters, it is. This is their livelihood, right? Their careers, their jobs are on the line. And you're going to sit there and say, I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, it's the first fight on the card. Let them get it warmed up. Who cares about this? They care, man. They fucking care. You don't have to care. You don't have to watch. I don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. Whatever. I don't care about what you think about it. It's the fighters. They should be given the same amount of respect and attention as the main event, because their livelihood is just as much on the line as the main event is. That's the stuff that drives me nuts about this flippant attitude towards where you are placed on the card, as if you're less important as far as the score. It's not less important to them. Yeah, they might not be. This is not a title fight, and yes, neither one of them is going to be fighting for the title in their next fight, and it's the opener. And yes, technically, you want to say on this card, is it the least important fight? Possibly. I don't think that's fair to say, but let's say possibly, right? But to them, their fight, it matters to them as much as any other fight in their career. All right. That's it. That's it for this card. So thank you guys for stopping by. It really means a lot to me. I mean that honestly. So if you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That way the next video is coming out. I think you have to hit the notification bell too. I should make a graphic for that. But if you click the the notification bell. Hopefully that allows you to know, because apparently when you even search my channel, I can't freaking find it anymore. So I appreciate y'all for stopping by. If you like this video, hit the like button. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Love y'all. Peace.